There's no better time to have a cup of tea. It's winter. It's 12 in here, so it's not too cold. But warm cup of tea. And this video is about the Bluebird. And we've done loads of stuff on it. I can't even remember. I'll have to go through it all again. Because this was shot in kind of in among doing the starlet, finishing that off. That's finished now. It's on the road. I can't do... I'll bring out the last starlet video, but I can't do street shots of it driving past and that sort of stuff because we're in lockdown now. The footage that was on it was pre-booked appointments with Vic Roads and that sort of thing, so that's the only time it's been driven, and I had to pick my daughter up from work as well. So this one's on the Bluey. What have we done? I don't even know. Rock cover gasket, cleaned up the engine bay, replaced the brake pads and disc rotors all the way around. That sucked as well because it kept raining, and I don't mind working in the rain if it's in the garden. At the old house, I used to have a really nice garden. I used to work in it quite often. It was rain, hail or shine. Didn't bother me. Not hail, but rain or shine. But here, I never really got into the garden. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've got 11 cars now, and back then I only had one. So what else did we do in that? We cleaned up the front bumper a bit. The head-up's working beautifully. Heap of work on that to get it working, but kind of really small reward, but I'm really glad I did it. It's just a cool thing. It's a cool retro kind of thing, if you know what I mean, with that VFD. Beautiful. I can't remember. Just stuff. We've done loads of stuff on the Bluebird. Now, the only thing left, I think, is the front suspension. I'm going to replace all the bushes, sway bar and the lower control arm, and I want to have another look at the struts and clean it up a bit more underneath and put the under covers underneath it. And then I'm tipping it's ready for roadworthy. That'd be good. So given that it's winter and it's rainy and cold and that sort of stuff, normally at this point I'm doing motorcycles. There's 4 of them here. There's, not you again. Go away. There's 4 of them here. There's the 750 Honda, 350 Honda, there's a T250, and I've got another 354 in bits, which I'm going to do something custom with. I'm not going to make it, a restoration as such. So, that's about it. That's all I've got to say, so I hope you enjoy. Okay, Bluey engine bay. It's a mess. I want to disassemble a few things. I just want to say, I think most of the leak is coming from up here, although they are fairly tight. Oh, very tight. So I don't think there's any problem with them being too loose. Most of it, the bulk of it's at the front. Oh, no, there is some at the back. The plan of attack. The hoses feel right, but I'm sort of tempted to put new ones on. The top tank is pouring, although it's dried out now. I think, yeah, the coolant level's low now, so there's no more to come out of the top. It's all leaked over the time I've had it. This really does need cleaning. It's diabolical, and it was sort of just old. The under tray, what do you call it? The tray underneath the engine was held up by a piece of heavy gauge wire hanging off this hose, and then supported over here somewhere. Yeah, it was wrapped around the air conditioning low pressure line, and you can see where it was, and sort of strung up here and down there. We don't want that. So it might mean making a bracket or whatever. Nissan put waxy stuff, although that doesn't seem too bad. Yeah, that'll all come off. It'll clean up very, very well, I'm sure. The only problem is it does have to get very wet, which I don't like doing with a fuel injected engine, but what do you do? So, alternator looks like it's been replaced. I'm not going to get that wet, I'm going to take it out. So we'll get the battery out, the radiator, and the alternator, and take the hoses off. Drain the coolant. Washing this is going to be, I'm going to have to be careful because I don't want any oil in the driveway, and I also don't want it going in the stormwater. So I'll do what I did with the Sigma, pack it up with cardboard underneath and bedspreads and all that sort of stuff. The Sigma was in the summer, so I could I put all that stuff around the other side of the house that gets the northern sun and dry it out and then just disposed of it. With this one, we're in winter, so it's going to be a bit harder, but I can put them under the house or whatever until they dry. So, I got another rock cover gasket. Quite disappointing. Well, it's blue, probably because it's a Bluebird. But my normal parts supply quoted $96 for this and another $10 to get it in. It's $106. This is online. Hence the colour, it's blue. Hopefully we don't see it, or we don't see much of it. And that was $43 on the doorstep, including postage, so we're going to go with that. I'm hoping it's KO24. Does it say it's a KO24 because it's supposed to? I'll know pretty quickly when I look at it. So I think we will drain the coolant. Can I get to the little cock down there? There should be a little drain cock down there somewhere. And yeah, we'll take the battery out first. I think we'll make that disappear. Alright, oh, that's loose. This is a far more complicated car than Starling, so I'm a little bit concerned about the amount of wetness I have to give it. That I don't screw up the electronics, because this thing is loaded to the hilt with electronics. Yeah, that's quite heavy. Feeling lazy, I can't be bothered getting my tools out. I'm just trying to use spanners because I've had them out. I'm going to have to go and get sockets and that sort of thing, I think, but if I can get away without fighting cars in the garage and that sort of thing, well, I will. I think I'm going to have to do it though. God, that's tight. Very tight. This stuff can be downright tricky. I'm just going to take a bunch of stuff off, but I'm not going to get carried away. Oh, look what I found. My bone. I was sitting on the sill over there, on the other side. So I'm not taking this off in any specific order. But I'll leave it off until I decide what I'm doing with the mounts. This one up here doesn't look too bad. I thought the one down there did, but I'm tipping it's the one behind. The engine is a vibration, and it feels like a dodgy mount type of vibration, if you know what I mean. So I'm just gonna not doing this in any great order. But this lets me clean. I can get in there, you know, without some of this other stuff on there. I'm just gonna have to loosen that alternator. I don't know where the bolt is underneath, but I might take that out. That might be the way to go. Yes, I think it might be. Yeah. Just get some pliers and whoops. Make some of this stuff disappear, hey? These things were outsold by Camrys about 20 to 1 back when they were new. And I think, well, I don't know the reason for that, but the Camry, in my view, was no better. It was a good car, but it was no better than these. These things just didn't look as good. And they were dear as poison too. What am I missing? Where's my Richard Graham head torch? I bought one for 30 grand back in 1995, 4. Could have been 5, I can't remember. When did that come out? And sold it for 24. I lost 6 grand on it. And it was the same. This was a TI. Well, this one cost me 800. The mileage is slightly higher. And this says head up, and my other one didn't. I can't figure out how to get that out. How do you get that out? I don't want to break it. Plastics are quite often quite brittle. Is there a bolt behind there? I can't see. Just a minute. First glimpse. That's the AC belt. That is just so knackered. Might have a Dayco number or something on it. I'll just get rid of all that grease and get a replacement for it. Just a mess. And the whole car's like that. It's just taking it very simple to get the AC belt off, but you just get completely grotted up. I'll give it one thing, those unions are beautiful and clean, and inside of the hoses too. Look at that fan out. I picked up some better ones at the wreckers, but they were all, none of them were sort of as new, if you know what I mean. So, I'll just make do with what we got. But as we get the alternator out and the heat shield off the exhaust, it should show us the full extent of how dirty this thing is. I'm trying to hold a light. I couldn't get that washer bottle out. I didn't want to break it. I think it sits in a plastic cradle and clipped in, but it didn't want to relent, so I'll take the guard off underneath. Yeah, it's not supposed to look like that. It's kind of disintegrating. The thing was clipped underneath it, the transmission cooler, the line, just on there. They look alright, don't they? I think they work quite well too. And already I can see a lot more. God, Gosh, this is really, really dirty. It's terrible. Oh well, onward and upward. Right, so giving this a bit of a clean, full of water. Which is number 2? Yeah, they're going to have to be dried out. Need to take the rock cover off. Replace it. It's not perfectly clean at the moment, but it's a little bit better than it was. These hoses do feel quite stiff. Might just undo that one as well. Take the cover off. You can see I did this the other day and it's already got sort of corrosion on it. I'm hoping like crazy it starts. It might not because I really waterlogged it. But I need to move the car to get the Ford out. They're really stiff. Is that one going to come? Probably not. Maybe I need to take it off here. Can I get in there? Turn this around so that I can undo it the other way. This might be the way to go. God, it's smooth. Oh, look at that. I think the rest of it can come off now. I'll just undo those bolts and take it off. To be honest, I'm going to be completely amazed if it's just a rock cover gasket. There's far too much oil for that, but this is the first thing I need to look at because obviously it's got a rather nasty leak there and it's just been sitting here soaking for days, so it's not going to be easy, but I really need to get it going. So in this little segment I'm just going to change out the rock cover gasket, the radiator because it smelt of coolant and burning oil. So I'm going to try and address those things and I'll put some new belts on. It's got little steel things in it there. That should be nice and loose. Is it free? As free as we're going to get. It doesn't look too dirty in there. I will take these. I think those rubbers stay there, don't they? Yeah, that'll do it. Oh, it's broken. Let's have a look at this gasket. That will not help. That's good. That's a good sign. We can just clean up that rail. Looking at it inside though, it does look very, very good. That one's still got a bit of flexibility, but this is just knackered. I'm saying it's a good sign because that could be the leak. I'm pretty sure. If it was all flexible and looked good, I'd be worried. Yeah, we got the gasket in. It's Boy Racer Blue, but given that it was under half the price of what my local supplier would charge, I will put up with blue and not worry about it. I'll put a nicer washer in the top, hey? Whoops. I've just got to get this thing going. And it's, look, it's not as good as, or as clean as I've had before, but it doesn't matter. I can detail it all later. I just need to get it going again. Just, as I said, just to get the thing so I can move it. And I want to warm it up a little bit. I'm a little bit worried there was a little bit of water got in there. If that much oil was coming out, it sort of stands to reason that some oil's going to get it, some water's going to get in. Start in the middle, eh? We don't want to crack anything. But this should stop that oil. I put a bit of 3-bond in the corner. I was looking for my Honda Bond and I can't find it. So that's Kia stuff I've had for 20 years when I worked at Blackburn Nissan and Blackburn Prestige. Right, so I'm just going to lick over these with the rattle can. You can see the rubber's gone, it's perished and very rigid. It's actually moving around in there. These are from the wreckers. They're not brilliant, but they're still pliable. And, you know, there's still, no, that one's really good. I think this one, yeah, that one's still not very good. but it's infinitely better than that. So they do flog out as the thing moves around, so somebody's put electrical tape around the spigot on the radiator. I've got to take this radiator out. The other thing I got was a new washer cap. This is a different type. There's two different types. This one's all sunburnt and getting like that. These ones, Nissan as well. I've just got that one. It'll do the job. It's the wrong colour, but who gives a relic? It matches the rocker cover gaskets. Look at that. We've colour coordinated our U13 Bluey. I just don't want to lose too much fluid, so I'm just putting 1/4 inch drive extensions down the lines. They're nice and clean, although one's already leaked, but I have to clean that off the drive. Susie will go nuts. So let's just pull you out. It's got plastic stuck to the front of it, but that's cool. That's alright, I can do plastic. And hope like crazy, it was a good purchase. There is green on it, but that's overspray from the Starling. Just don't want that leaking. So I'm just going to put that down there. Oops. And if it looks as though any fluid's going to come out, I'm just going to stick those lines back on just to stop anything coming out. Like that. That's sitting there the way it's meant to be. Too clean, but the header arrangement looks fantastic. But look at that. That's a big issue. No, look at the angle it comes out on. That would be a major performance hurdle, I would have thought. Got the alternator sort of sitting here, but it's not, there's no belt or anything. I've got to get those fans in. They just sort of sit in locators down the bottom, but there's some side pieces that sort of go in there as well. I might have to take that heat shield off. God, these assholes. Hang on, I might have to lift it. I'm just watching the thing on it. What's that water coming out? I just saw some water draining out. There's got to sit. I think that's in. That's as good as in, but there's these things that clip on the sides as well, which are these little curtain things. That's the right, so it goes forward. They go down like that, I think. Hang on. How do they go? I think they slide sort of down and in. Not a bad idea when you're doing electrical stuff after you've washed. A bit of this stuff. It's from JCar. It's a solvent with a lubricant in it, electrically conductive, and it reduces sort of moisture and that sort of thing. This is just cheap junk. But, well, if it worst comes to worst and it leaks, then we'll just drain it and keep it. At least it's fresh. And the battery tray, the plastic thing, shot off under the bush when I was what do you call it, pressure cleaning it. So I'll fish that out again. Time to do distant pads. I guess the first thing is to take, oh, the camera's in the bloody way. I need to take that off. Hold on, I'm leaning over you. I didn't think of that before I put the camera down. Alright, let's take that out. I always put some Loctite on these. Got a little hook. Lift that up. I'm just going to pull it off there. Might lubricate that slide again. And I'm just going to hook it up out the way onto the spring. Like that. A couple of big bolts. We'll take those out with a rattle gun. Isn't that dog? He wants to go inside. Oh, gee whiz. Right. Reverse. I can't even see the bloody bolt. Oh, there it is. Airline's leaking. Take those guys out, and the disc will pop off, and the pads are fried. Let's have a look at them. That's on the wear indicator. That's almost, well, it's just becoming metal in the middle. I don't know if you can see that right there. And that's cacti as well, so they're stuffed. I always keep the anti-rattle bit off the back of them, put them on the new pads. And that was so bad it just fell off. Now, what's that ball joint like while I'm here? I'll have to check it with the thing, with a lever. Right, so have to clean up the surface here, put the new pad on, the new disc on, and we can stick the pads in. Right. Just give me 2 secs. Thinner on here to clean it up, including the mating surface. I've left it on the front of the hub because it doesn't matter. And I'm just going to pop this thing back. That could use a clean. Just a moment. Okay, that goes that way. Over the disc, pop the bolts in. Yep, that's cool. Should really open the nipple up to drain this, or to push it back, but I'm not going to bother. This is the only time I ever use these things to push a piston back. I'm keeping an eye on the master cylinder, which is getting rather full. I might just drain that a bit, just a moment. Come on, oh, get out. There you are. Just going to use the syringe to get the to drain it out, or at least. Push the rest of this back. Nice and gently. Should open the nipple, but I haven't. I cringe when I see people pushing these things back on a new piston install. It's alright when you're changing the pads out, but otherwise it's a no-no. When they've gone back beautifully. I'm just going to put some, just clean those off and put a bit of molly grease on there. But the molly grease will help it along. Just like that. We use this in tie rod ends, things like that. What do we got? I should use copper grease on here too, and I haven't. This is a real rush job, you can tell, right? Oh, yeah, I'll take that off there. Get some Loctite on there, do him up and we're good. These are more like a Ford in that the handbrake actually turns in. I'm just going to, oh, I can't get to it properly. I might have to put it back on the, mount it back on the thing. But you can turn them in, and you've got to be careful when you do it because you're sort of twisting that boot around. I'm going to have to remount it, just a minute. I don't know if you're going to be able to see in here, but I've got to turn this back, and it'll turn back quite easily. But you've got to let's get it back first. I'm just doing it clockwise, and it's a bit of a pain in the ass because I thought these were just easy ones, like that. And so that bottom part there has to mesh up with a protrusion on the pad, so I can take this off again. The easiest way to get these off, you got to take both off, both pins, and there's a handbrake bracket. It's just one 8mm bolt. So I'll just take these off, pop the disc on, and put it back together. Well, it's dark, and it's going to rain, I think, tonight. I can see in that tree. I'm wearing Richard's head thing. Right. So our discs and pads are replaced. All around. Done that one down there and all the fronts, and flushed out the brake fluid, which is a nice cleary ambery colour. And I'm going to replace the bushes, the control arm bushes, front and rear control arm bushes. Still a little bit mucky under here. I might have to clean that with a rag and some Prepsol or something. Just give it a good clean up. I wouldn't take the thing into roadworthy unless I knew it was roadworthy. You can see it's sway bar bush down there. No, that's not the bad one. Hang on a sec. I'll show you the bad one. I shall show you the bad one. Get your laughing gear around that thing. Look at that sway bar bush. That is stuffed. Absolutely munted. So we need sway bar bushes. I might put tie rod ends on. We'll have a good look at those. If they're not bad, I'm not going to bother. Well, it's the next morning. It's cold and sort of dewy everywhere. Let's see what we've done. Here are our belts. This one's a bit of a pig to get on because it's the boss for the power steering pump or pulley is right almost up against the chassis rail. So I'll check that against the old one. The pardon me, old one's just really oily. So I just want to check to make sure we're in the ballpark. And down here, loosely in the ballpark. That looks about right. I'm not doing it any scientific way. But that much oil, it spooks me a bit that much oil is under the car, or got underneath the car, just from a rocket cover. You'd think it'd be something else, but I can't judge anything else. You know, everything coming out of the rocket cover is going to be covering up any other, or masking any other leaks. So I'm going to pop this in. It's nothing really to see. I've just got to thread it around the power steering pump, and then the rest of it's fairly straightforward. Oh, boy. Might go a bit tighter actually. Yeah, it's going down my neck. I never liked working in the rain. These are the front mud flaps. I just wet sanded all the muck off. They're not great, but it was better than painting them. I'm just using a bit of cutting compound. Just so there's some sort of sheen on them, so they'll be easy to wash. That'll stay clean, or cleaner. You can see I've gone through there, but I don't think it matters. I really don't, because against the rest of the car, they'll still look presentable. Right, we need to bleed the cooling system. I think the first thing we're going to need to do is modify a soft drink bottle. Right, so we've cut the bottom out. It doesn't matter how rough you are, that's going to fit. Wrap electrical tape around the neck of it. And all this does... hang on a second, I'm fumbling this. All this does is it raises the level of coolant to higher than the radiator, so that when you fill this up, it's higher than the engine. You can just bleed it out through there. So I used to do this on V8 Commodores. Is that going to suffice? I don't like pulling electrical tape, but that is going to be just dandy. I'll just loosen this. You can hear it blow out. Oh, there we go. Cool. There's a bit of air in there. That's probably alright there. I'll just put a little bit in here. I don't want to have to clean too much of this stuff off. Can you see? I wanted to and that's just all coming out. Yep, I reckon that's going to be alright. I think what I'll do, I'll start it, warm it up a little bit, not too much, and recheck it. Still working well. Alright, so the temperature looks like it's coming up now. Bit premature for my liking. We'll go and have a look. Yeah, it's using coolant. I might put my bottle back in. Alright, so you can see that's coming out past the threads, which is good. I'm just gonna start it again. I'm just gonna keep topping it up, but it's using an awful lot now. I've overfilled the thing. A lot of that water from the bottle went straight into the overflow because I didn't use the proper thing. But now the top hose is feeling warm and the bottom one's lukewarm, the engine's not very hot. That's doing something good. Okay. So I've cycled it a few times. Got it nice and warm. Well, warm-ish. It's not completely warmed up yet. I'm a little bit gun-shy of doing this when it's boiling. We've still got bits of air coming out, but that looks pretty good to me for the moment. You can normally see it coming out from around the threads on the thing, but I'm going to call that done for now, and we can recheck it when it cools down. And we should be alright. Should be in fairly good shape. So, where's the cap? What did I do with that? I think it's over here. No, it's not over there. What the hell have I done with the cap? Where's the cap? Oh, here. Just give that a squeeze. It's a bit frothy, that's to be expected because it's been sort of turbulent in there. Normally if you take a cap off and you see froth and crap everywhere, you're thinking head gasket, but this is just to do with turbulence. Put that way. Give it a superficial hose off, because coolant does dry with a sort of a powdery residue left behind. Get rid of all that, and I'll just start the engine, let it run a bit, dry some of that water off. Oh, pardon me. And we should be pretty good, I would think. Belts have just got a bit of water on. I put new belts on it. I don't know if I showed that. I can't remember what I filmed. This is an editing nightmare, this one, because I've thrown out heaps and heaps of footage, but I just thought it was boring and repetitive. I guess while it's running, I'm going to have a quick look at this front bumper. Oh, it's running well. Very smooth. Just a little bit of 1500 here. Let's see if I can get rid of that. Oh, I've got two bits of 1500. Hang on a minute. This is all crazed. Maybe I should use 2000. It's going to come off, but I don't want to get into the paint. I might just take the bulk of that green off. I don't know what they hit, but it's a hard paint. It's not like house paint. It could be off another car. So I'm just going to try and rub that out. See, I've got to watch I don't go through it. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. Then what's that, 1500? I'm going to go to 2000. And just hand polish it a bit. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect. I'd like to replace the front bumper, to be honest, because it's all crazed, and by the time you take all that off, bodywork it and paint it, it's just easy to get a bumper in good shape for 35 bucks from the local wrecker. The car really doesn't know too much. And aside from suspension repairs, or the front end repairs, I'll rebush all the front and give it another clean underneath, a proper one, when the weather warms up, because I wouldn't mind just working either inside or in the garage now. It's going to be ready for roadworthy quite soon. I'm just taking my time with it. The Starley's on the road now, so I really don't care too much. That's a bit better. But it's just one of those. We've still got to clean the rest of it. And it'll be alright. The thing is, it's presentable. That'll be alright. The rest of it needs to be all cleaned up. Like this muck in here, but I think that's where paint's peeled. Because it's been painted at the front before. But the preparation, I don't think was terribly good. You can see under the headlight where it's peeling. Or it's peeling, I should say. Right, so what are we up to? We've achieved a bit. We've given the engine a rudimentary clean. Still has to have a bit more cleaning, particularly underneath and some of the detail areas. We've changed the radiator, changed the coolant, replaced the belts. What else have I done? Even replaced that little guy there. Got the head up working. That was a big job. And it's only a very small reward, but it's a good reward, if you know what I mean. Clean up the bumper, still new, but we can go with that. Changed the wheels, changed the brake pads, changed the disc rotors, replaced all the fluid with nice clean stuff, bled that all the way through. I've got another headrest for it because that's got like a head stain on it or whatever. Hang on. Replaced the stereo with a lovely OE one that works very well. Fixed a sunroof drain leak, but we had to... What did we do to that? We filled the interior up with water, but we dried that, we're all good. Replaced the rear bar. I've got to clean it. It's just stalactites of crap coming down on it. Replaced that little badge there. It's looking much better. It's looking really good. Really, really good, actually. It's going to be a very comfortable car to drive. So, on that note, a couple of things to do. We'll give the wiper arms a nice paint job. They look pretty manky. New blades. We'll rebush the front. Sway bar bushes, and we'll do the lower control arm bushes. The struts look alright, but we'll have a closer look at that sort of thing. But really, it doesn't. The windscreen's great. The seatbelts are all good. Roadworthy wise, I don't think it needs much at all. We've just got to go through and have a closer look at some of the stuff. I'll wait till the engine cools. It's still quite warm, and we'll re-bleed the cooling system. Apparently KA24s are a bit of a handful to bleed. I'm going to have to drain some of that out. There's too much in there. That was just because that makes you fun. And we'll just clean it up a bit more. It's still pretty manky around there. But anyway, look, that's all I've got time for now. Hope you've enjoyed this. Take good care of yourselves. And I'll see you soon. What do you reckon? She haven't. Jesus.